Now, let's start with the fallout from the 2023 budget presentation by Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. There are concerns from some Ghanaians that the budget did not have any plan to deal with the high fuel prices. Petrol, diesel, and LPG prices have seen an astronomical rise, forcing transport fares to rise as well, triggering general hardship in the economy. Many would have expected that to feature in the budget statement, but was missing. In Kumasi, fuel prices topped issues of concern to residents as they reacted to the 2023 budget statement.
Bibia kakrakra bibia say 1.5 for the about 1.0 na kakrakra say no more konanim so a no be how see dey.
Let's take things gradually. They started with 1.5% and now it's being decreased. Then it's good. Fuel is an essential commodity running the economy, so if it's high, prices of goods will go up.
Say say normal from kakra, but I say normal say
the statement won't help. We are hoping things will be subsidized. Every item on the market now is expensive. If the VAT is introduced, it won't help.
Now, student, baby cry the G20, baby the G18. We have normal we pay FMA. Let's stay 70 to no mama can one. $80 in baby. I could be on way. Then come from near Hunsuntoy. This idea, maybe I can't on the only crowd confusion baby moon. Target for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Now this you are doing look at see pa or buy way region piano you see shelves are yes store in Miami.
Dr. Kwame Nkrumah established a lot of preservation factories for the country. So if the government wants to build more factories to produce locally, then we will be able to harvest more and feed ourselves.
Feed yourself, grandpa, a champion de buy and yat watching. That's not for
say, oh, you never me a boy and economy and you give it me a jatum.
If the government would only institute these measures, then we would agree to the budget statement.
Me a boy, dear, a year free. Sabi, I won't check a crea, you will move a crea, and you have me a danas.
We hope everything gets back to normal.
Worldwide crash and number, but will be a dear when it will be also any day.
I know papa when the castle vati kumi prekono. Sapa power and the castle vati kumi preko. The vata some credits as work, and that's what the background. That's what you.
As a president, not the same person who said VAT kills, he has to cancel it. If they introduce the VAT, there will be a lot of suffering. He placed income tax on fuel. How has that helped? Who rules a nation without income tax?
What the income tax I should draw for the to petrol so and the intimento. Now by now, watch it on my our the income tax. Not just a crown fit time of us or mine.
11 the beginning crown we and sa and Kamani Pan baby Nantias. So on common man bathroom no dear starts here and I can now crown a cost rock and Kaboy. But baby on the start.
If they had started the e-levy on a lower rate, people wouldn't have agitated. But where they started was too high. That's why people complained. They are the ones running the country's affairs, so I'm not sure they will institute measures to hurt us.
Now, we have heard of government plans to exchange gold for fuel from the international market, according to Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. In a statement, the demand for foreign exchange by oil importers in the face of dwindling foreign exchange reserves results in a depreciation of the cedi and increases in the cost of living with higher prices of fuel. And to address this challenge, the government is negotiating a new policy regime where our gold, rather than the dollar reserves, will be used to buy oil product. But this will happen immediately. So what do we do before that time? We're joined on Zoom, on phone, by Samuel Amwa, who is member of the National Communications Team, Ghana Private Road Transport Union, and Duncan Amwa, who is Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, for more on this discussion. Ms. Amwa, if I have you, let's start from the removal of levies. What do you think the removal of levies will make at the pumps? Will it make the fuel cheaper were you satisfied with what government brought in relation to dealing with the rising cost of fuel in this country?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me say good afternoon to your viewers. And then what I'm saying is what happened or what came out from the budget reading. We at the transport sector, we will say we were not that satisfied because we think our expectation is like for the fuel prices to come down because that is the major thing that we always expect. And then we think they couldn't touch those areas that will cause the fuel price to come down. For us to also, be a little bit so that we also know how to, handle our business in terms of controlling our transport fares, because we know now transport fares are based on the fuel price now. And if government is coming out with a budget reading, we are expecting something for the government to do. At least we were thinking that something different, can be done so that the fuel price will come down. But I don't think what we heard now we are that satisfied with it. No, I don't think we are.
Well, government says with the old mechanism, the dollar is always racing against our cedi and therefore makes the cost quite higher. That is why they are bringing in the fact that we will now exchange our gold for fuel. Won't that result in the reduction or probably the stagnation of the prices for some time? Isn't that something that will help you in your business as well?
Well, if government is saying that our expectation is to see the fuel prices coming down, but then, that is what they think they can do to bring things down. Yeah, we don't have any problem. All that we are looking forward to see is the fuel prices come down. So if they have, something to do to just bring the fuel price down, I think we'll be okay. We'll be satisfied. But then, as to how it will come, that is their own business, if I may put it that way, because we have heard so many promises, budget reading. Anytime we meet them in meetings, sending our petitions to them, all those promises have come to pass, and we didn't see anything. So if they think that is the way they can go about for the prices of fuel to come down, at least I think we will embrace it, we welcome it. But all that we are expecting is for it to come down.
Well, what specific things were you looking forward to hearing from the budget that you didn't hear, that makes you feel that, well, we've been left out?
Yes. When we met the president, during our transport fare negotiations, we point some things to him. That is, one, we were on the side of maybe finding a way to subsidize the fuel again, to see that at least they can cushion us when it comes to the fuel pricing. Because we know we've been paying taxes like price stabilization levy. We have been paying this tax for all this while, and we know that money, the purpose of taking that money is to cushion the petroleum product, and we are not seeing that. So that is one thing we are thinking. But then we suggested that, okay, if we are paying the money and the money is not doing what we are supposed to, the money is not doing what it's supposed to do, then I believe they have to scrap those taxes. And then we didn't see that, and at the same time too, the dollar rate, actually they mentioned that they will do something to bring the dollar down, and at the same time too, they were also mentioning of getting the crude oil in a cheaper price or whatever. The finished product in a cheaper price. But we didn't, hear all those things. So we think for transport sector, we were not satisfied.
Well, so going forward, if government should call you to the table again, say, bring up your proposal, what will be your proposal to government after they've read the budget, which, of course, you say that you didn't hear what you were expecting to hear from?
One of the major proposals that we think we always confuse about is to bring toll back. we know very well, and we think if government try to bring toll back, at least it will help us by bringing the fuel prices down, because we know now they cannot control the dollar rate, and the OMCs go and they buy it at a higher cost, and they bring it down. But if supposing we also use our refinery here, at least it will bring some things down, and at the same time too. They always make mention of we sacrifice, but we are not also seeing the government sacrifice. So the government should also sacrifice in a way, most especially the taxes that he has been. Because we know the fuel price is taking about, I think, 40 pesos on every liter. At least they have to also make some sacrifices to also help it. So I think these are some of the challenges that we have faced.
Whilst you're calling for sacrifices, what are the sacrifices, or what are the sacrifices we can get from transport operators in this time of, very harsh economic situation in this country?
Yes, transport operators have been sacrificing for all this while. I remember when we met the president, he mentioned it clearly that an institution that he thinks has helped the current situation, if he can mention, is the transport industry. Because per the agreement we had with the government that anytime they increase fuel prices up to 10% threshold, then we the operators also has to increase our fare. But if I may recall, from May till this November, they increased the fuel price was increased about 42%. Like if we were supposed to increase our fare, we would have even increased it by about 4 or 5 times, but we didn't do that. So I think that is the sacrifices we are making now. If we are supposed to go by this automatic adjustment system that is going, like the increase, we also increase. At least like by this time, I don't know how the country will be. So we have been sacrificing for all this while.
Usually, when you are increasing your fares, you do make mention of the fact that when your spare parts also go up, you do consider the increment in the way you come out with your transport fares. We've heard government announcing a 2.5% increment in VAT. Are we going to see anything, flipping over onto the fares because of this VAT announcement?
Yes. Whenever we want to review our fares, we have 4 major areas that is spare parts, lubricants, taxes, and then fuel price. So if one side goes up, we also, anytime we want to increase our fares, we go down there to check all those components and see how much that increase the percentage-wise before we also do our calculation. So, hopefully, if it happens that we are coming out with that improvement, we'll check those areas. And if it goes up, it will also affect the transport fare. Yeah, that is how it is.
All right, hold the line for me. Let me go to Mr. Duncan Amoah, who is the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, for more on the budget. But thank you so much for joining us, Duncan. Now, I'm sure you had some expectations before the budget was read. Were your expectations met? Well, Duncan Amoah, if you can hear me, I'm asking that I'm sure you had expectations before the budget was read. Were your expectations met on the 2023 budget? All right, so we'll work the line so we can get Duncan Amoah to have a chat with. But the GPRTU, a member of the GPRTU's communication team is with us, Amoah. So if I got you right, you're saying that if there are increment in the cost or the prices of your spare part, we will be seeing increment in transport fares. Is that it?
Yeah, that is what I just said, because as I explained earlier, it's one of the major components, because we do consider all these 4 components that I just mentioned. So if one side goes up, and we're also doing our calculation, definitely to reflect in our calculation. So now spare parts have gone high, and it's killing the transport business. So when you go to shops this time, you find vehicles being parked there, and owners don't even get money to repair their vehicles because of how the cost of the spare parts now. So if it happens that it goes up again, definitely it will also reflect in our transport sector.
Okay, we'll look forward to that day. But still hold the line for me. Duncan Amoah has joined us again. Duncan, I was asking that were your expectations met in the 2023 budget?
at COPEC, the thinking would have been that the government would be concerned, particularly about where we find fuel prices haven't gotten to over the past 2 months. And so we had quite mild expectations. Rightfully so, we expected that the government would dedicate part of the budget towards addressing the rising spate of fuel price increases in the country. And so some of the policies that we expected to hear government do something about, one has to do with the taxes, two has to do with the structuring of our energy establishments, particularly the Tema oil refinery. If we were going to invest in there to ensure that the refinery is brought to a more efficient space where it can also contribute to Ghana's petroleum security and by extension reducing fuel prices. We're hoping we'll hear something about the bulk oil storage and transportation also. And then again, whatever the president meant when he said that we as a country were going to explore avenues for quite we getting elaborate as the budget 2023.
Mr. Samuel, your line keeps breaking. I think if you're walking, kindly stay at one place for us so that we can have a very good linkage between us and we can have a good chat. You are telling us that you expected government to talk about how it can resuscitate toll, but that didn't come to pass. What else? You were mentioning about things that you expected but you didn't hear. You also talked about BOST. What else were you expecting that you didn't hear?
Again, the president during the recent speech on stabilizing the economy and the country, one of the things he did mention was that we're going to explore options of getting cheaper fuel. And so, but he didn't go deeper into how the numbers were put out for what more rolling out, the gym to arrangement other that fuel cheaper for us. We didn't get much in that room. Again, the issue for control pricing in Ghana.
Our connection between us and Dankaramwa seems to be quite challenge. We would come back to him when we have a better line. But there's been more reactions to this particular budget. We've been to Kumasi, but at Abosokai, my colleague Michael Ashley was there to gauge the mood of the people there to understand how they do receive this particular budget that was presented by the Minister of Finance on Thursday.
I have one lady here who's one of the avid members of the Spare Parts Dealers Association. She's also here in Abosoka. Brenda, your full name though?
Brenda Adolfo.
Okay, Brenda, so you've heard partly what the minister was able to say. One of the few people that are interested, first of all, in what the minister had to say. I mean, first of all, what was your initial assessment of what the finance minister said?
Okay, so basically what is in there that is most important to us traders is the tax elements, the increments in the VAT. I think it's very insensitive to increase VAT at this time. So already this is the issue we are battling with. Bottom line, you are looking at over 1,000 cedis for one piece of battery to get to your shop. And your markup hasn't even come. To talk of the VAT elements. At the end of the day, how do you expect the everyday user to buy 115 plates of battery? I think it is very, very insensitive. The things are that tough to come in overburdening us with more taxes. And that e-levy thing, the reduction, they should just scrap the whole thing off.
I have Eric, he's the PRO of the Spare Parts Dealers Association right here in Abosokai. Eric, so you didn't want to hear it. but it's been announced 2.5% more on your VAT at the port and in the business that you're going to be doing. How do you react to that?
I think it is an unfortunate situation. We were having some information that something of that sort to happen. It's quite unfortunate because we sent a strong signal to the government that we are not in position to receive this. But as it stands, it has come, and then what else will you do? It is it's only adding up to the economic hardship of the Ghanaian citizenry. I think there was some little hope there that you were saying that you sort of reduce the exemptions on foreign companies. We're hoping that there will be that, because as it stands, we can't compete with set companies, and then if he has seen the need to cut down that foreign exemptions, some exemptions on foreign goods. I think that one is laudable.
Eric, let me thank you very much. So Eric is the PRO of the Spare Parts Dealers Association. You've heard from them themselves how the increment in the VAT rate will impact the business that they do. They are opposed to it and would wish that government will reconsider its decision for the 2023 fiscal year.
Well, so Duncan Amo has rejoined us on the telephone lines. Duncan, Samuel Amo, who is with the GPRT, is saying that, well, if the taxes that we pay such that when we are in these kind of circumstances, government can't subsidize fuel, is not being utilized, then of course it is better for government to remove all of those taxes from there, then we can live our lives. Do you agree with such a suggestion?
Two things. Whilst we deal with government, I don't know the right word to use, but government doesn't seem to care about where fuel pricing currently is. Whilst we deal with that, I think we'll come back to deal with the GPRTU and this whole transport fare arrangement conundrum. The process by which they arrive at their fares has been largely unscientific. And so, until we get to a point where they decide to have a proper working formula for transport fares, within the country, that takes into consideration, the cost variables and the cost build-up, such that you at Joy FM, Joy TV, can even sit and compute transport fares based on the variables or the indicators that we have. Until we get to that point where they get to a more scientific point, this ad hoc, thing of we have increased fuel, they have increased this, we have increased that, we have increased this. I mean, that for us is not sustainable. If you look at the fuel sector, there's a standard computation that allows them to pay themselves for those who transport oil to and across the country. It's the same transportation kind of thing they do. Unfortunately, when it gets to the public commercial transport, there's no such scientific thing. So we'll rather go and sit with government. We say 40%, government says 20%, 10%. And the people who are paying for do not even get to have a say. Neither is there any scientific way to determine whether the transport operators are fair to us or we are not fair to them. It's quite murky there. But back to the conversation about the budget and what we really had expected and didn't get to hear or heard anything, we thought that government would have been a bit more concerned about where petrol prices, where diesel prices are currently hovering, and the sort of impact, adverse that this is having on the Ghanaian economy. Unfortunately, the budget didn't really do as much by way of discussing the fuel pricing conundrum. And so that leaves us a bit disappointed. By way of strategy, 2023, if you read any of the outlooks from Bloomberg and the others, as far as fuel market is concerned, there's going to be a lot of pressure because China is insisting that it bounces back to the productive numbers that it had pre-COVID. India is picking up, right? Now, the ban on Russia, if it takes the kind of toll that the Russians, the Europeans expect, then it means Russia is getting knocked off. Once Russia gets knocked off, and then you come to a point where OPEC is also decelerating, the numbers they put out there daily. 2023 could be twice as difficult as 2022 has been, as far as international commodity pricing, particularly for fuel, is concerned. And so we would have expected that these outlooks would inform policy on our side. These outlooks would inform the benchmarks that we set here by way of the taxes we put on fuel, by way of the city's influence on fuel pricing within the country. Unfortunately, we didn't get any of these indications in the budget. And so that leaves, that space a lot opened. It leaves speculations as far as the currency performance is concerned, a little opened. We would have expected that at least the budget would tackle the Bank of Ghana's interventions that we are seeing currently with the BDCs, so that it becomes something more institutionalized, so that the BDCs are quite aware that for every metric ton of fuel we are importing, the BOG is willing and is able to, get us the forex. And so the forward rating figures that we've had to use that increases fuel prices, we'll probably have to moderate on it. Unfortunately, if you go through the entire document, you do not get any such indication. It has more to do with, government deciding that appointees should take 30% and fuel should be cut to them and all of that. If you cut fuel to appointees, that will not reduce petrol prices to the teacher, to the nurse, to the doctor, to the ordinary, Ghanaian who needs fuel to be able to go to work Monday to Sunday. That clearly is the part that is missing, aside the austerity that government seems to want to announce on its appointees, and by way of reducing fuel allocations to them. We have not seen anything that indicates we want to bring down prices, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, once we are talking about using forex to go buy fuel, government through the vice president says that now we're going to do some sort of a barter with gold to bring in fuel. Now, on the Facebook page of the vice president, he writes that as part of measures to operationalize the government's use of gold to purchase all products, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abu-Jinapor, has just issued the following directives. 1, effective 1st January 2023, all large-scale mining companies has agreed with the Bank of Ghana shall sell 20% of all refined gold at their refineries to the Bank of Ghana in Ghana cedis before the export of the gold. The Bank of Ghana and then Precious Minerals Marketing Company will coordinate with the large-scale mining companies to ensure compliance with this directive. Effective 1st January 2023, all community mining schemes shall sell their gold output to government through PMMC. All mining licenses for CMCs shall include a clause mandating licenses to sell their gold output to government. Effective 1st January 2023, all licensed small-scale miners shall sell their gold to government through PMMC. All small-scale gold mining licenses shall include that. Now, this is to ensure that instead of us to take forest from our forest reserve, we would rather go with gold to purchase this fuel. What do you make of that with your knowledge of this particular sector?
Let me ask two critical questions. What are we seeking to resolve when we move away from currency for oil purchase to a barter for gold and oil? What are we seeking to resolve? Granted that the gold would even be accepted for payment for the oil importation, does the gold have what you would call commercial or nominal value? If it does have, and you can transparently on the commodity market trade the gold to pay for the oil, then you don't need to go into a barter arrangement. Barter arrangement at all times, whether you like it or not, would have a loser and a gainer.
If you go in with your gold to say that I have gold, give me oil, there is no way they will trade with you on fair value basis because you are bringing a commodity for another commodity. If you went in with money, you can negotiate downwards simply because what everybody is paying for, which is fair value, is what you are paying for. And so we do not think that this is a rather feasible proposition. If the situation is such that we need to solve the currency challenge, gold as a store of value is what a lot of international currencies, depend on to get some stability or to be able to, appreciate their value as far as their currencies are concerned. You can use this gold to back your currency so that the currency doesn't depreciate as fast. But to trade gold for oil, look, I think we need to explore this conversation beyond the Honorable Minister for Land and Natural Resources declaration that we are now going to get 20% of, all unrefined gold. And as a country, once we have access to that amount of, mineral, then instead of looking for dollar to pay for oil, we'd rather use the gold. Look, it is going to create too much of corruption in that sector. Because what value of gold are you using for what value of oil? Are we now going to leave it blank for other people to decide when gold as an international commodity has got value at...
Oh, that's unfortunate. We lost Duncan Amor there. But you're watching Pulse here on the JoyNews channel. We were trying to understand, the whole issue about Ghana now trying to trade gold for fuel. But my colleague, Blessed Soga, has been out there engaging people on the budget, especially when it comes to people wanting to hear more about the petroleum prices and what government will do. Listen to the interaction.
Fuel prices and the spare parts costs build up.
The fuel price is too high. All we work for the whole day, we use all the money for fuel consumption. We work 8 million, we buy fuel 7 million, 6 million. So how much are we taking home? We have wife and children. We are paying rent, light bill. All these utilities are high. We are also boarding cars at times here. I'm coming from Abilikuma. When I'm coming, it's 9 cities. When I'm going 9 cities, how much do I take home for the spare parts? Any day you go, they increase the prices. And therefore to the same thing. You project for today, this morning, you go this afternoon, the price will change. You have to top up your money before you can get what you want. Otherwise, you forget about it. It's affecting it a lot. And it's destroying houses, marriages. It's affecting marriages. Right now, when you go to some homes, the spouse are always fighting. We can't do like we do before. Today we can't do like we do before. Today we can't do. When we give the money to our wife, they will go to the market, they will come back. They will tell us the money is not enough. What they have to go and purchase, they can't purchase it. The woman too don't have some. There will be quarrel in the house. All the time there's quarrel. This morning I fought my wife before coming to work. I gave her money, she was complaining. I said, I'm complaining. Before I was giving you that. Now I can't give you that money again. Because when I go to work, I don't bring anything home.
And you also say that even the way people used to board your cars, people are no longer patronizing your services as much.
Yes, it's true. This time, because of the lorry fare, people are walking home. People are walking. They don't board car. We can park here. A day, we'll go about three trips. People are not boarding car. Governments have to reduce the fuel. It's the fuel. The fuel is the problem.
And what I'm saying is that look at the situation in which we are. Things are now difficult for us. And now, the most annoying thing on my part was just listen to the e-levy. He has now brought it down to 1%. And the 1%, which means if I happen to send even 100 cedis, that's 10 cedis, to my any of my relatives, I have to pay something, which is very bad.
But some will say you are transport operators. Why should you be worried about e-levy, for instance?
Why shouldn't I? Because I have children. I have grandchildren. You see, I'm so much particular about that. But concerning this driving something, nothing has been reduced. Nothing. We were talking of the fuel. he should reduce the fuel distance for us. The taxes on the fuel, he refused to reduce it. And then come to spare parts. The spare parts, even look at VAT now. Look at it now. It's going to affect our people at Abotokai now. So which means it will come back to us. Which means this will be very difficult. So in reality, he's not thinking of us.
But some will say that we're all in difficulty. So try and adjust and just reduce your prices because you are the cost of why food prices are up and everything is up. So just reduce your prices even if government doesn't reduce the tax.
Do you mean to say we drivers should reduce our prices? Oh, how possible? But do you know that we are working with, fuel is not the only thing, no. Fuel is not the only thing. We are even talking of engine oil and then other things. Breadfruit, everything has been increased. So if you talk, for instance, I'm a driver. Before then, I've been going to my hometown. I pay 70 Ghana. Now I have to pay in and out 1.2. That's 120 in and out. How much is it? From 70 Ghana. I'm from Oti region. You get me? It is not our intention to what? To increase salary fares. Because I know it will affect me one day. Because I also bought a car to my village. So I, for one, as I'm here now, I don't think to increase salary fares is something we drivers we like. But it's the situation.
So what would be your appeal to the finance minister and by extension?
He has not helped us. I haven't seen anything concerning with the drivers. He has done nothing. He couldn't help us in any way. He couldn't. He's supposed to at least reduce something on the fuel. If you talk of the fuel, because we are talking of the Bola tax, COVID tax, what of few taxes on the fuel. You reduce those things. At least it will come down for us, whereby we have a union. Our executives will call us. When they call us, we sit down with them. So, they've reduced so and so amount of distance on the what. So you too will reduce something on the lorry fare.
You have been fighting with your passengers of late. Don't you feel that you have to calm down? I mean, your drivers, they are just beating passengers all over the place.
You know one thing. It is it's frustration.
Every day I buy fuel 450 cedis a day. I work like 560 or 600. I don't get anything.
So how is it affecting people like transport operators?
Oh, the transportation fees go up. It's for the work. If the transportation go up and the passengers don't take the car.
And the passengers are not taking the car?
Yes.
What do they tell you?
Because of the transportation.
It's too high?
It's too high.
Finance minister, it should reduce the prices for us. It should reduce the petrol for us. If you reduce we will reduce the fare, so that we can make free.
Are people complaining a lot?
Yes, they are complaining. We take cars, so we will complain.
Some say you can help Ghanaians by reducing. There's no money in the system, so just reduce the transport fares.
If the minister reduce the fuel, we will reduce the prices. If the minister can't reduce the prices, we can reduce our own.
Aside the fuel prices, is there any other thing government should be doing to aid you as transport operators?
And this thing too, spare parts. The spare parts to the cost. So it make our cowness to increase our sales. It make our cowness to increase our sales. So if you reduce the fuel and this thing, authority to this thing calm down, they will reduce everything.
So. All right, so you're still on the pause. Those were some reactions with my colleague Blazer Soga there. We still have Samuel Amwa, who is with JPRT on the line. So Sammy, as we are looking out for whether or not you will increase your prices, what do you expect government to do going forward to help alleviate the sort of challenges you encounter in your operations?
Yes, if you ask me this, I'll again mention a way to bring back Temale refinery, because by the grace of God, we are getting the crude oil here, we are getting the crude here, and by the grace of God, we also have the refinery here. So if there have been mismanagement and it has gone down, At least they should try as hard as they can. Use all their ways to bring back toll. If they bring back toll, we'll get our small crude oil crude here, we'll refine it here, and at least it will at least help the country. If even what we are getting here cannot even serve the whole country, what they will import will not be that much. And it will help us. It will make the fuel prices come down. So that is our expectation. Government should try, because toll is down there. You know, there are even, the other time I heard, there are even workers there, they are on payroll, they are still paying them. That building is there for nothing. Why are they not?
That will be a long-term. That will be a long-term thing for the government to do, for it to then bring back toll. But in the immediate term, where this budget didn't address your concerns, what are you expecting government to do to help you in your operations?
Yeah, what we are expecting now is, well, they made mention that they are finding a way of getting a cheaper finishing product, and that will also help, you know, the fuel prices in Ghana to come down. If they can do that, then they should do that quickly, because we as transporters, where our transport fares are now, it's not helping our business. It has rather caused the business to go down, because now you go to station, most of the passengers prefer to walk rather than, you know, joining our vehicle. So government should try as hard as they can. Now we have come to understand that there is no way they can, you know, do to bring the dollar rate down. That can have had an effect on the importation of the finishing product. But if they say they have a way of getting the finished product in a cheaper, you know, in a cheaper price, they should quickly do that, so that we also, you know, enjoy the business that we are running.
Samuel Amoa is a member of the National Communications team of the GPRTU. You're also watching The Pulse. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us. Welcome back from the break. Now, let's do football, because MPs in Ghana's parliament have expressed anger at the standard of officiating during Ghana's World Cup group match against Portugal. The feeling is the same among the general populace, who feel the referee's actions impacted the game in favor of Portugal. We are learning that the leadership of Ghana's team has petitioned FIFA, raising concerns over those refereeing decisions by US-based Moroccan referee Ismail El-Fath. The game ended after a controversial penalty and another goal, which Coach Otuado complained about. We'll hear from him shortly, plus an update on the petition. First, though, some Ghanaians have been reacting to the game.
you know, Della came to bury us. She came for a funeral.
No,
Black is for funeral.
No,
like, she's the reason they scored us.
No. This is for the black star in our flag.
Where is the star? Where is the star in the black?
Come on.
No. She came for a funeral. Della came for a funeral.
Personally, I think we did so well. The lesson I'm going home with today is that your opponents may look so big in the eyes of the world, but if you put up a good fight, you may not win, but you earn respect.
I mean, technically, the boys did so well. In the second half, you realized the ball they played. That was a swift and very nice ball they played over there. They withdrew and made sure that the Portuguese came, and then they attacked. Unfortunately, the penalty was not supposed to be a penalty, but then, of course, you know, the referee refused to use the VAR, which didn't go in our favor. But then we responded quickly.
Well, Ghana, we did so well, but we felt like the ref was a bit biased. And then also, I mean, we're in the momentum, okay? So the moment the coach made those changes, it actually affected everything. It spoils the whole game, you get it. Yeah. But I felt like, I mean, we still did well, and then we have the chance of qualifying, you get it. Yeah.
I think today's loss is a very technical one. Let's just say it is a technical loss, because the coach lost it. Honestly, in the first half of the game, you could see that the players were composed. We sat back, defended very well. But going into the second half, after we had scored, I don't know, we had a certain level of confidence.
Let me say, Ghana did well. They played very, very well. And I really appreciate what they did. I was so impressed with what they were doing.
So those were some fans reacting to the game. Let's get more on this from Joy Sports editor Gary Al Smith, who is in Qatar at the moment. Gary, thanks for joining. We do understand that Ghana is protesting the decision that led to Portugal's first goal. What more can you report on that?
Exactly that, Brace Samuel. I think the GFA have followed some of the other countries. England also similarly protested. The VAR calls in their game. So I think a few of the other countries have also done that. I mean, some have asked, oh, so does it mean that the result can be overturned? Unfortunately not. But you do it for the record. And then sometimes when you do that, it might affect the sort of referees that you might be subsequently given. Because in the hierarchy of refs, there are, classifications. There are those that are known to be really good. There are those that are known to have certain temperaments for big games. There are those that are known as those not too good. When a federation like FIFA wants a ref for a contentious, politically charged game, they know that certain refs are more suited to that and all that. So when you register your displeasure officially like that, it gives FIFA the idea that, okay, these guys know what they're about. And then subsequently, when they are awarding refs, if there are any question marks about the ref they are awarding, they may, because of your petition, work on that. But unfortunately, it doesn't mean anything is going to happen to the result of the game, sadly.
But we've heard on social media that the VAR machines were not working. Is that it, or they were, just that the referee was either not called or he didn't heed to that?
I don't think they are not working. I have not heard anything. And because Ghana lost, you must be sure that if that was the case, somebody would have said something at the moment. And I'm pretty sure that the GFA have checked and it was well. I mean, there were a few times that I pretty much saw that the ref was communicating this or that with the ref. There was one, especially offside call. I think Portugal's third goal, it was contentious because Rafael Leao had just come on, and it was with his first touch that he scored, and you saw, for some of us actually in the stands and so on, we thought there was a hint of offside. It took a while for the ref to finally point to the spot, just a few seconds, but you could clearly tell that he was communicating with the central control room to get clarification that it was a good goal scored by Rafael Leao. So I don't think it wasn't working. I suspect that whatever happened, he just decided not to go and check it. I've seen from reputed media houses elsewhere, ESPN also, that perhaps the decision was the right one, and they have sought to explain why the ref gave a straight call and didn't go, for the VAR decision. And these things are very tricky. Just about 30 minutes ago, Samuel, Senegal have beaten Qatar by 3-1. Senegal benefited from two very big calls. Qatar should have got a clear penalty. It didn't even go to the VAR check for a second opinion. And this is the host nation. Senegal went scot-free. And then a few minutes later, Senegal went to score. There was a corner given to Senegal that from the replay should have clearly been a goal kick for Qatar. Senegal got the corner, affected, and scored as well. So these things happen in tournaments. Of course, when it happens to your country, then you have cause to not be happy and so on and so forth. But
Okay. Yeah. Gary, hold the line for me because we have referee Richard Atifo on the line now. Let's talk about the technicalities of the game. Ref, what's your assessment of the whole issues with refereeing, as Ghanaians are really giving our own review of the referee's performance, but you understand the technicalities involved. So let's have your review of the refereeing decisions, the critical ones of this match.
Yeah, thank you. Like Gary said, there are a couple of decisions that he made which didn't go down well. The one that I'm particularly obsessed with is the decision for penalty. Now, penalty for me is about 110% goal when it is awarded. So in a global tournament like that, if you look at the referee's positioning, when the defender attacker was moving, no, penalty area instance is such that you need to actually struggle or fight for position to be able to see the in-between of who would play or who will not play or who last touched the ball. Okay? So if you watch, he's made a call, yes. But the point is, even the reaction of the people should even alert you. Now, the essence of VAR is to come up with an obvious, clear error. So mostly what I've seen in the few games that I've watched, they only come in for an obvious, clear error that has not been seen by the referee. But what what makes me differ is that the referees are tutored to be able to make good decisions throughout the game of 90 minutes with additional time. So if VAR could also look at the cameras that play from the goal line area onto the field, they are equally alerted and look, come and take a second look that we think it's a back call. And that would have helped the referee. But for them, the position of the referee haven't gone to the left side of the penalty area and pointing out, I would say they assumed that his call was correct, but it was not correct.
Oh,
okay. So that is a major decision that I would have wished that the VAR man, if you watch, when the referee and the VAR man are always from the same country, if you watch the games that are being played, so that you can understand what the person is telling you, so that there will be no language barrier. So they could have communicated nicely, and then they could have gotten this thing done with, than rather allowing the referee to go ahead with a penalty. And later on, if they should play all these corners, and the referee will find it that, look, I am guilty for making a bad call.
But ref, can't it be that, well, they also checked and thought, well, that was the right decision, that was the right call, and that's why they didn't invite him to go to the VAR screen?
If VAR calls you to come and watch, they only call you to come and watch and clarify yourself whether the decision you are taking is right or wrong. For instance, the game I just watched a moment ago, the referee gave a red card. He was called that come and take a second look at the goalkeeper's action and see whether you go by the yellow card or now will change to a red card. But otherwise, that is the way he saw it, and then he gave a yellow card. But when spoken to him, he will go back. So in the same vein, if he was told that we have a second view of the decision you have taken, come and take a second look, he would have gone. He was not called. That's my mistake. He was not called. Normally, when the VAR calls you, you will not say no. You would go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, that can't it be that the VAR guys checked the whole scenario and thought that, well, it was a right call, and that's why they didn't invite him to go over. So they all were in sync with his decision.
I would say it's an assumption, because we never know whether they called or they didn't call.
Okay.
Because it's an assumption. Because you have the opportunity to see the incident one, twice, thrice, where the referee will not have that opportunity. So before you can say it's okay, we should go ahead, then you have played all angles and you are happy. Otherwise, why are we in this discussion? Because if they are seeing if they saw what we are seeing, then what are they telling us? You understand? At least, having played this thing several ways, we saw a yellow boot kicking the ball, and the yellow boot did kick the ball, and the game is a contact. And then this one, I see it as a fair challenge. Even if there was a contact, like everybody is saying, yes, that contact is a fair challenge. It is not a challenge that should even be awarded as a foul in the first place. You understand?
Incredible.
So for me, there was an error committed by both the VAR and the referee. And that is the way I see it.
Grateful. Referee, hold the line for me. Gary, hold it for me. Our coach Otuado has been speaking about this. Now, at his news conference, he raised concerns about the referee's decisions that led to the Cristiano Ronaldo goal. Well, so that was our coach Otuado there. Referee, I'm sure you've heard his explanation that he feels the decision to allow the Ronaldo goal stand is an error one, which of course you also agree. But it's quite, news to some of us, people, laypersons, to hear that the VAR will call a referee and the referee may decide not to attend. So if that happens, you are an instructor. What should happen then? If the VAR calls you to look at the screen and you decide not to go, would you have to decide on your own that I won't go or I'll go?
In this discussion between you and me and Gary, we cannot be able to say whether he was called or he was not called. If you should play that clip, I would want to explain to your listeners and viewers, and you see where that ball was nobody's ball. You just play it where you see Ronaldo and Salisu moving towards the ball. So all of them had a 50-50 opportunity to play the ball. If you watch it, I would have even asked you to stop it, and you see that when they were apart, it is anybody's ball. So you wouldn't say that Ronaldo had opportunity and he was in control, and this guy, by playing the ball, brought him down. That is what I want people to look at.
Okay.
Yes. If you show that screen, you will see that the pass went, all of them were running towards the ball. And it was anybody's game. Anybody can pick that ball at any time. And both of them went together. That is why I'm saying that it's a fair challenge and it shouldn't have been a foul. But as soon as Ronaldo dramatized, the assumption is maybe there was foot on foot, maybe his ankle was kicked, and that is the reason. That is why I'm saying the positioning of the referee itself was not the best. To be able to see, because if you see the way that both of them are going, you wouldn't see how Salisu tackled the ball from the inside. You only be seeing Ronaldo, and you would assume that the ball that has been played by the inner foot of Salisu was something that was played by Ronaldo. You understand? Yeah.
Interesting. Well, there's also another point with the third goal. People have even drawn their own line with a ruler. Help us understand, how should that ball, or is that an offside, really?
I watched this thing on GTV Plus, and if you look at the positioning of the Black Star player, Abdul Salisu, the one at the far end, and then the Portugal player here,
Rafael,
you cannot align the two and say that the feet is ahead of that one. And then the system they are using now, where technology is such that they are mapping the player's position relative to the ball and the goal line to be able to identify where the player was relative to at the moment the ball was played, if it was offside. That is why you see that they will come and give an imagery of the position of the player and then how the line goes through the player. Okay, so this one, it was not, for me, it was not, at a glance, I would say it's not offside. And then if it was, that imagery would have come.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm grateful.
So the imagery.
Yeah, Gary, let's hear
So to match what Ref is saying, the imagery did come afterwards, actually. So for this World Cup, Samuel, there is actually a chip in all the balls.
Balls, yes.
There's a chip in all the balls. And how it helps the imagery is that the moment the ball leaves the foot of a player, the mapping stops. So, at first, that's even 2 years ago, they had to assume and rewind like we would do on JoyNews here.
Okay, well, so that's my colleague Gary R. Smith. He's still with us. We're trying to reconnect the line so we can understand the mood in camp and what will be happening. But former President John Dramani Mahama also watched the match with some fans at his office here in Accra and gave the following reaction afterwards.
Great game. Great game. Our boys gave a good account of themselves. It's a pity we lost, but it makes me hopeful in this World Cup because we still have Uruguay and Korea to play. They get a good account of themselves. We're proud of them. Let's keep up the spirit. Yeah. And so we'll see how it goes. They played very well, very confidently. The boys have talent. And so this is a Black Stars for the future, for now and for the future. So let's give them all our support. And I'm sure they'll go far. I've seen some new players in there who play fantastic football. And so we have great potential.
And how would you rate Otoado's performance today?
Who?
Otoado.
He's a good coach. He's a good coach. And I think we should give him space to be able to blend the team.
Reactions to this game coming from several quarters. One of them is Parliament, and Parliament has reacted furiously to Ghana's opening loss to Portugal at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. The Black Stars lost 3-2 in a game many have faulted the performance of American referee Ismail Elfath, who awarded a controversial penalty that was converted by Cristiano Ronaldo. Reacting to the defeat in Parliament, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin berated the referee's performance as the major contributor to Ghana's defeat.
It is true that the Black Stars won the match, but lost the referee. That is true. We had some technical challenges. That is also true. But in spite of those technical challenges, we won the match, but we lost the points. Ghana again won another first. Yesterday, I drew your attention to the first we won. For the fourth time, we fielded the youngest team. That is a first. Again, the first African team to score at this year's FIFA football tournament. Not just a goal, but 2 goals. That's another first. And the whole of Africa was celebrating with us. And what we just stated is what is being discussed, not only in Africa, in the whole world. We really won the match. And I think that our technical team will take and do the necessary thing for this not to be repeated. Clearly, from the statement that you made, Ghana abounds with so many coaches that we always have to look within. We are self-reliant. We don't have to look outside to get coaches. Even in Parliament, we have so many coaches here. And they have demonstrated it.
Now, Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu also questioned the calls of the referee, but considered that the substitutions of Ghana's coach Otoado were poor.
In association football, Mr. Speaker, the right thing to do is to congratulate Portugal as winners, undeservedly. They don't deserve the victory because we're robbed of our victory, Mr. Speaker, by poor officiating, not just the penalty which was awarded in favor of Ronaldo, but even the second goal of Portugal, as VAR subsequently revealed, was a kind of offside goal, if you observe it. But it was not confirmed. It was a kind of offside goal, Mr. Speaker. So it means Portugal got 2 unmeritorious goals, the penalty kick and the second goal. But Mr. Speaker, our technical team needs to appreciate 2 important things. Concentration. Our players lost concentration. If you notice where they picked up the balls, just between the changes, then they were with the ball to the net. In my view, the coach didn't need to do any changes. That's my view. As somebody observed, there are many coaches in Ghana. My view is that Coach Otoado didn't need to make any changes. But one can understand that he panicked because of the yellow cards that were given to Asedo and to Kudus, who was the driver of the Ghanaian team. I'm sure he tried preparing them for the next match, and out of it panicked and undertook those changes. That caused us the second goal because Jordan Ayew was not settled, and therefore they just got the ball from him and then they managed to put it into the net. So, Mr. Speaker, they need concentration, then discipline. Mr. Speaker, again, you observe that our players didn't go for 50-50 ball chances. All the balls, they will pass, he's waiting for it. Doing what? I think that we need to strengthen it. But my view is that we need to commend the Black Stars for the courageous bravery and talent of football that they showcase.
Well, Harry Nadrusi speaking as an owner of a football team, there, knowing much of the formations. But for his part, Majority Leader Oseche Mensah-Bonsu bagged the GFA in reporting the performance of the American referee to FIFA. He expressed shock that the penalty awarded to Portugal was not checked by the VAR.
Speaker, we must congratulate the team for the quality of game and indeed for the sheer bravado that they displayed yesterday. The first half display indicated that we have a very gritty defense, and indeed they were able to soak all the pressure that Portugal unleashed on them. The second half was very explosive, 5 goals in just one half. Mr. Speaker, perhaps it's the best second half display or second half performance thus far in the World Cup tournament. The penalty awarded to Portugal was indeed questionable, and if we are to be blunt, most undeserved. Ghana indeed lost to the referee and not to Portugal. We lost to the referee, not to Portugal. Mr. Speaker, in such instances, the VAR, the video assisted referee, will be resorted to. Who were manning the VAR system such that the referee was not prompted? Because clearly the 2 players went for the ball and they touched the 2 feet from the 2 players, touched the ball almost at the same time. There was no tangle. So how come did the referee whistle for a penalty against Black Stars? And the people manning the VAR system did not prompt the referee. Who were the people who were manning the VAR system? Or was it a conspiracy against Africa? The Speaker, the temptation to arrive at this conclusion really is there for everybody. And the referee, having whistled, pointed immediately to it. The captain of our Black Stars rushed to him to complain, to avail himself of it. He refused. Was it a conspiracy against Africa? The Speaker, I think that is something that we must stand by, protest against the referee, such that this referee should not accorded any space to further what injustice that he inflicted on the Black Stars.
So we have Gary R. Smith and the coach still with us on this conversation. Gary, what is the mood in camp after we lost to the Portugal in the opening game?
Yeah, light, what they call a shakedown, done, and then the players were given just a few hours off to calm down a bit, after which they come back and start preparing rigorously for Monday's second game against South Korea. And Uruguay drew their own game, and so you can imagine that the game plan of the Black Stars will be to, I am assuming, take the game to the Asians rather than be as conservative as they were in the first half, as the honorable speaker, as the majority leader mentioned in his very interesting analysis about how the Black Stars soaked the pressure. Yes, the defenders did well to soak it, and they were probably the best department of the Black Stars team, the defenders. But you'd have to wonder that right now they have to open up, as Senegal did against Qatar today. There was absolutely no need to sit back, because if you lose that game against Korea, you are done and dusted,
I've heard some people say,
yes,
that if you watch the game between Korea and Uruguay, it looks like we are not at the same level. But you've been there, you've seen the 2 teams play. Do we have a chance?
Well, I mean, if this World Cup has told or taught us anything, Brace, it is that because of the timing of the World Cup and the fact that usually every team is going to have about a month, to rest, get their paces together and be tactically in shape. Almost no team at this World Cup has that. It has leveled the playing field a bit, which is why you are seeing all manner of results and teams. I mean, today, Iran beat Wales. I mean, come on, you know. So Ghana absolutely has a chance to not just match South Korea, but actually beat them and go on to beat Uruguay. I don't think that there are many people in who are watching right now who don't think that with the right selection, I mean, all the way to Parliament, almost everybody mentioned that there were technical deficiencies in the way we handled things.
Okay.
Loss of concentration and all that. And so if those are sorted, I have absolutely no reason why I don't believe that this Black Stars team cannot beat Korea and do so rather convincingly.
Gary, I'm grateful that you could join us. I'm sure as we are, we've not had any injury or of any sort in camp, right?
Yeah, that's the great thing. That's the great thing. I mean, we've been quite lucky in that regard. Otuadu has had the full complement of his team to choose from. And yeah, we can only hope that the second game will be better. But I'm sure there will be some thought as to, who has got a yellow card, and that may also play into the starting lineup that we will see on Monday. I'm sure that will also play a part.
Okay, grateful. That's JoyNews, Joy Sports editor Gary R. Smith. Let me now wrap up with the FIFA and CAF referee instructor. Ref, going into our next game, are there any technical things you want our team to take notice of so that we avoid the things we encountered in our first game with Portugal?
The competition like this has its own rules, and I believe Ghana have taken notice of the competition that has been given to them. There's a lot of do's and don'ts that are there. If we play within the do's and don'ts, for me, we shouldn't have a problem. Like the technical bench performing well and knowing who to play and who not to play, I believe that we can excel going forward. So let's hope. We are all treading on hope that Monday would be a different thing for us. And should we get a win, then we can now share the other points with with Ecuador when we meet them. Okay. So the bottom line is Ghana would want to win, and either win Ecuador or share the points with them. And let's see what happens.
Referee Richard T. Atifu, I'm grateful that you could join us. This is still the Pulse on the Joy News channel. Now, we'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll have more stories to tell you, including on Emmanuel Kwesi Deborah winning the Engineering Evangelism Award for his contribution to report on science. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Pulse here on the JoyNews channel. Now, JoyNews' Emmanuel Kwesi Deborah has won the Engineering Evangelism Award at the 24th Ghana Institute of Excellence Award in Accra. He was recognized for his excellent reportage on indigenous technologies. Kwesi Deborah is the head of the Science and Technology Desk and the lead reporter for Tech Thursday, which is broadcasted on multimedia platforms. He joins us now on Zoom to share more. Kwesi, congrats to you. Your hard work finally is paying off. How does it feel?
Yes, well, it's humbling. It's humbling. It's very exciting because we started Tech Thursday somewhere around 2018. There, it's been some years now, like 4 years now, and for us to be honored in this way is very humbling. I think we've done a whole lot impacting the society with our reportage. We've had so many successes all over the years, and this as we come at the right time.
Your signature reading, is it something you decided to have so that you can be different in the industry, or it's a natural thing? People do really speak about it.
Oh, it's a natural thing. It's a natural thing. That's how we started. We started the whole broadcast thing, and for when we started, because we didn't want to engage ourselves in more politics or reporting on social issues very much, and we thought that it's about time that science is given a voice, technology is given a voice, engineering is given a voice. And this has paid off. You know, when we started, it was quite difficult because we were wondering whether, you know, people will be pushed to, you know, watch these things. But of course, it has been quite tremendous. And yes, we'd like to thank Fifi Kumsin and of course our late managing news editor, Kwashi, because they really brought up this idea, and it has been that tremendous. Okay. That tremendous.
Okay. What should people expect going forward, finally?
Well, for Tech Thursday, we're all about indigenous technologies. We want to give indigenous technologies a voice. We want to make sure that everything that we use in this society, is having our touch. If it's in a spectacle, it's a shirt, even it's a phone, if it's a computer, we want to have a Ghanaian touch to it. And that's what we're pushing for. And so they should expect more from us, that we'll be bringing out the indigenous technologies to be fishing them out wherever they are. And also be making sure that they are implemented, and so that the people of Ghana can benefit from, of course, our hard work. So they should expect more from us. And wherever they are, whatever anybody is doing, know that Tech Thursday is there. Will be coming to your doorstep to find out what you are doing, so that when you give us this and we tell the people that this is what you're doing, we'll try and push for also the consumption, the utilization of our works.
Okay.
So that the whole Ghana will be the winner.
Okay. All right, Kwesi. Grateful, but Charlie, the other one that's around it, we speak back so that we know what we'll do. Grateful. So that's Kwesi Debrand there. Once again, congrats to our man there. Now, to other stories now. The National Lottery Authority, NLA, has defended its decision to compel the private lotto operators to still pay 30% commission instead, or 20% commission instead of the 30% the lotto writers are calling for. You'll recall that last month, lotto writers across Ghana warned of massive demonstrations across the country should the NLA decide to hold on to its decision. But the NLA says agreeing to that will be against the laws that established it. Samuel Ku is the Director General of the NLA.
That's the Writers Association. They wrote to the NLA and its management. I think in the past few weeks, you've heard the very heat that the operations of the NLA has generated, leading to the NLA embarking on swoops to weed out illegals in the system. And this we have not reneged on our promise. However, when they wrote to us, we decided to listen to their concerns. It is a special operation we are embarking upon. One, to weed out the illegals. If you are not registered or licensed to operate, you won't operate. It's fundamental. Because what governs between us and these lotto operators, that relationship is governed by the license agreement you sign with them. Those license agreement comes with its own conditions. And we have been clear in what these agreements entail. And this is what they signed up for. And so we also want to repeat and make it clear to them as well that they should comply. Again, they have also accepted that it's the NLA that has the sole mandate to also regulate the lottery industry. We have also made it clear to them today that as much as possible, we have to work with each other and cooperate. We do not have any direct relationship with them, but we have it with the PLOs, and the PLOs employ them. However, our decisions and policies on the PLOs will also affect them. Once they've come, we've also made it clear that NLA has at no point in time fixed commission rate at 30%, which they agreed. But they said it's been a practice. They've also been shown evidence that the PLO signed up to 20% commission 2 years ago, last year, and this year. So the fact that the PLOs were engaging in things of illegality does not mean that it is a right for them, which they've understood.
So that's Samuel Ku, who is the Director General of the Ghana National Lotteries Authority. Now, how much do you know about insurance? Well, that's the national insurance debate sought to do when tertiary students were brought together for the competition this month. National Tertiary Insurance Debate brought 16 insurance awareness clubs from selected tertiary institutions nationwide. These clubs participated in the maiden edition of the National Insurance Debate from November 4 to 5, 2022. The clubs were formed as part of the Think Future, Think Insurance educational campaign, a roadshow to 39 tertiary campuses from this year under the leadership of the Insurance Awareness Coordinators Group, AICG, and its partners with support from the German Development Corporation through GIZ. Dr. Kingsley Kwesi Kwabatson is the CEO of Ghana Insurers Association and has been speaking to JoyNews about the initiative.
Program seeks to make insurance the Ghanaian way of life, and basically we are sensitizing the tertiary institutions, the tertiary students, about the need for us to have insurance and also to ensure that they take on insurance as an important aspect of their lives. So we are looking at, it's possible that we'll get students who will turn out to be insurers, but even if they decide not to be insurers, we want them to carry the message of insurance wherever they go, just so that wherever they find themselves, whichever profession they find themselves, they should appreciate and understand that insurance is a critical part of that profession. For example, if somebody turns out to be a medical doctor, a lawyer, professional indemnities and insurance policy, that will be very relevant to such a person.
So what was the mode of selecting the schools?
Well, let's say that we had what they call the National Insurance Debate is part of a broader campaign, what they call the Think Future, Think Insurance campaign, which worked across 70 tertiary campuses in the country. And out of that, we established insurance clubs in 16 of the schools.
All right, so this is the pause. We are at a point where we need to talk about something that it's been a while since you saw it. The Old Schools Reunion, and this time it's been rebranded, repackaged. It's the Hits FM Old Schools Reunion, and the amazing Noella, Carrie, and Yali is here. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I am solidly solid.
Isn't it interesting that you're interviewing me today?
Yeah.
But anyway.
But it's enjoying.
Yeah,
it's enjoyable because I'm interviewing such a pretty lady like you.
Thank you.
That's by the way. My wife is watching.
Yeah. Right. So I'm going to start by asking you a question. What school did you attend? What high school did you attend?
Oh, I need to do this to mention my school, please. I attended Badu Bonso.
Okay.
Senior High Technical School. During my time, it was Badu Bonso, Senior Secondary School.
And what's your nickname?
My nickname? I was called Polowazi. Yeah, so short, they would call me King Polo.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
That's interesting.
Very, cute.
Yeah, you still look cute.
Yeah, very cute. Yeah, very cute. And,
But I'm
very quiet.
Yeah? You're not too quiet as of now, but
I'm quiet, yeah.
Anyway.
But they used to call me Samsok. You know what, Sam? I used to drink a lot of soakings.
Okay.
So they used to call me Samsok.
I mean, we all loved soakings.
But mine was terrible. I could take it as breakfast,
lunch,
as lunch, and as dinner.
I see.
I can take soakings.
Survival tactics. Anyway, but I'm sure it's been a minute since you saw your colleagues from senior high school, right?
Yeah, even Justice Bedu, who I used to work here with. It's been ages.
Right.
Since I saw him.
Imagine. So that's one of the major reasons why Hits FM has revamped the Old Schools Reunion. As you know, it was rested for 7 good years, but of course we've revamped it and we're bringing it bigger and better. And it's happening tomorrow at the Elwak Sports Stadium.
I won't miss this for anything else.
Of course you shouldn't. You shouldn't miss it for anything. I mean, it's an avenue where you get to connect with, some of your colleagues, acquaintances from senior high school. I'm sure during the day when you used to go to your freaks and, other neighboring schools, there was some girl you were eyeing. Some girl would be over there you were eyeing,
well,
right?
Unfortunately, at that time I was too innocent.
Okay.
So,
of course, that's what you'd say because...
I was only after the books, really. No,
really?
Yeah. But I do tell myself that maybe, we're on national TV, so let me reserve that.
I see. Well, I had a crush on some half-cool guy in KSTS.
Okay.
Yeah, he had a crush on me too, but he no me too.
Oh.
Yeah. But I'm hoping to see him tomorrow. At the Elwak Sports Day. I'm single. Probably he's also single. So So yeah, it's happening tomorrow, guys. You shouldn't miss it for anything. We're gonna have Jama, competitions, national anthem, school national anthem competitions.
Hey, school anthems.
Yes, Gary Soul Kings competitions,
I'll be there.
five-a-side, football five-a-side, competition. The activities are a lot. Now here's the part that I enjoy, or I'm gonna enjoy. We're gonna have Stone Boy perform. We're gonna have Keche also in the building. Eno Baroni. We're gonna have Tulenke, Chief Tulenke.
Oh, wow.
And a host of other,
the lineup is
performances, of course. So, I mean, I don't know about you, but I am not missing it. Plus, we want to say thank you to our sponsors quickly before we go. So, thank you so much going out to Alumni by Enterprise. Your advantage is proudly brought to you. And also 10 bets for the better. Korba, our Life Simplified, VIP Magnetic Perfume from Dreams Cosmetics, Alaji Vision Herbal Clinic, the Eye Doctor No Surgery, Silicon House Productions, Ghana AIDS Commission, Ebony Condoms, Make It Worth It, Pepsi, Feel the Moment, Glovo, Order Anything, we will deliver in minutes, and Low Price Masters, durable and affordable. So, Kojo,
interesting.
Right.
So what time are we starting tomorrow?
So we're starting at 10 exactly. Yeah, 10 o'clock sharp.
And then we're ending?
Till Mama calls, like you say in senior high school.
Okay.
Right.
But you asked me of the school I attended. What school did you attend?
Methodist Girls High School.
Where?
McGee's.
Where?
It's in Manfe.
Oh.
Yeah. We won the robotics competition.
Manfe. Okay, someone tells me that, Charlie, you ladies were like yo.
Of course, we're still yo.
Oh, you were
yo. Still gang gang.
Gang gang.
Gang gang. We ganging and banging.
So during the entertainment period, what were you used to do?
Oh, I used to host some of our freaks, some of our entertainment. Oh, I think I did. Mirror on the Wall by Lil Wayne. So one time, some entertainment time, I rapped it. So yeah.
You know, my first girl, I got her after singing Queen. That Two-Face song, what's the title?
African Queen?
African Queen.
Okay, you are my African Queen. Okay. Hey, smooth operator.
I mean, but that was when I was just about leaving school. But I got her. That was a very, very fine girl there. Anyway, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you too, thank you.
So that's it. That's Noella there for you. But Nanajwa Kofi is a sports journalist. She's celebrating her birthday today. So happy birthday to Nanajwa wherever you are. But that's how we wrap up at the pulse here on the Joy News channel. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. To enjoy the rest of our shows and enjoy yourself. Good evening.